Y'all would laugh so hard at me if I was live right now because I literally just filmed 4 videos while muted. I wanted to thank you guys so much for showing up, and the return subscribers, the new subscribers, thank you all so much for being here, for discovering my content, and for sticking around. So it's been a minute since I have posted any content, and the reason for that was that in December of last year, Waffles and I were involved in a car accident. Um, it was pretty bad. It was our fault. The accident was our fault. What happened was we were stopped at a red light, waiting to go straight through the intersection. This intersection specifically had a right turn lane that had a separate light. That light turned green for the right turn lane to go. At that time, Waffles thought that it was our light that had turned green for us to go, and unfortunately, we drove straight through the intersection and got hit by the traffic coming from our right. Of watching the car coming at me, I truly thought that I was just gonna be dead. Like, I thought that was it. That was the moment. Like, that was the last thing I was gonna see, and that it was just gonna be gone. Like, in my head, that was it for me. And that's not what happened. So, um, since that day, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, to say the least. And I don't blame anybody for what happened, but that's not to say that I don't struggle with a lot of things still that happened, months and months ago. And I have unfortunately come to the realization that a lot of those things will be something that I struggle with probably for the rest of my life. But thankfully, in today's day and age, there are lots of ways to help alleviate some of these things that are going on. And so I kind of just want to get into that and let you guys know what's been going on with me and just how life has been. So thanks for being here and thanks for listening. If you're still sticking around and you're still listening to this, I appreciate you. You're a real one. And let's get into more. I do get headaches weekly. I have neck pain every day, but I refuse to take pain medication for my own personal reasons. And so, I find other ways to manage that and I do my best because these are things that, will probably be permanent ailments that will be a little bit of a nuisance, for the rest of my life. But at the end of the day, I am thankful to be here and along with all this, obviously, with the headaches and flashbacks that I was having, and the fear of even just getting into a car again and driving was so intense. And it really just led me to complete isolation. I got to a point where I couldn't go a day without feeling like something terrible was going to happen. I literally just felt like everything was a blur. Like the world around me was moving and I was just like stuck in a pause. I am a little bit of a sentimental person, it's not necessarily the item itself, but it's the memories behind it and the memories that were made in that car. And it took some time after this accident actually to figure out completely what was going on. I knew that what I was experiencing, although it may have been normal for some people, was like at an extreme level, People go through hurtful, hard things every day and they don't sit and sulk over it for 6, 7 months. They're able to move past those things and, grow. And I was just kind of stuck in this, like, I don't even know. To me, it just felt like a blur. Like, I don't know what else to refer to it as other than just like a blur. I felt like I was just like living in a black blur and everything was just like happening around me. The world was just going on around me. And I was just now it all kind of makes sense as to why everything just felt so difficult sometimes, why I would get so in my head and so worked up about numbers and analytics and feeling like if I wasn't posting X amount of times a day or a week that I was a failure and didn't deserve to even be a creator. Like horrible extremes that are completely irrational and quite honestly toxic as fuck to myself, that I was having just on like a regular basis consistently. Um, and I feel like when you have an inner dialogue that's so negative for so long and no like counter to that, and having BPD on top of that, the mix of that is so fucked because in your head, you're just like, you're the enemy, you're the worst, you suck. But that's not the reality on the other end looking in. And so, like, it's just such a hard struggle. And it's something that I've personally had to research and learn about because as much as I know I'm experiencing these things, I'm still just like over here on Google, like, is this fucking normal? Like, why am I so upset about this? You know? It's been a journey since these diagnoses came to light. I always knew I had PTSD. I was born in the middle of a war, and my family left. My family were refugees and left the country of Yugoslavia or Serbia, and uh, came to the United States. I was 5 years old when they made that decision. And I didn't know English. My parents didn't know English. We had, you know, two bags in our hands and had no clue what was expecting us, you know, or what we were expecting on the other side of the ocean. But my parents knew that we couldn't stay where we were either because it was an active war zone. The only video I have of me as a baby, you hear a gunshot and you see my face just go from like happy, smiley, excited to just like terrified. And I mean, I was maybe 2 or 3 in that video. Hearing gunshots, I imagine probably constantly, you know. I vaguely remember like seeing dead bodies while walking the streets, you know. Um, Just terrible things, and things that I shoved so fucking deep down because I, like, as a child, could not comprehend, like, what the fuck was going on here, you know? And, like, why was all this happening? And why am I being sent to a completely different land, you know? That's not my home. And I think that has a lot to do with how much my family moved around growing up. They moved so many times. It was like every couple of years, you know, and it wasn't like they gave me time to prepare. It was a week in advance, like, hey, we're moving, you know. I don't know if that was to try to like lessen the blow. I don't know what that was about, but those were just real things that I went through and I experienced. I had pets that were just given away and I would come home from school and they were just gone. Up and like going through those things personally, you don't really recognize the impact that that can have, you know? Feeling like you have to beg for attention from the people that love you or should love you. Um, Getting put down by your family and being told like you're fat or you need to look a certain way or you need to put yourself together more. Those things aren't okay. They're not normal. They are toxic and they are patterns that I dealt with and never want to deal with again. And I'm just now at the age of 32 years old realizing the impact that all those things had on me and my development and my brain. And unfortunately, in learning more about BPD, it's obviously a personality disorder, right? So at the end of the day, it's comes down to who I am. And although that can be managed, genetics and environmental impact are the two determining factors of BPD typically. And unfortunately, for a lot of us, we don't get a choice in either of those things, you know? So much work to be done in awareness, raising awareness, and getting help for those that truly need it, that feel stuck, that have, individuals around them who don't believe that there's something going on. Because at the end of the day, whether or not anybody believes you, you are the only person in this world who can know and regurgitate what you are experiencing for yourself. So don't ever let somebody else tell you that what you're going through is not real, that what you're experiencing is not real. Find the help that you need. Find the professionals. Explain what's going on. There is something out there that can help, whether that's therapy, whether that's medication, whether that's just support groups, volunteering, getting out there, finding a sense of community. It doesn't matter, but you have to figure out, first of all, what's going on, what caused that to happen, and how you can better manage it. Because if you don't ever learn to manage it, it's gonna fucking take hold of you real quick and it's gonna win. I've lost lots and lots of friendships because of my BPD, because of my anger, because of my PTSD. And not only did I have PTSD from this car accident, but I had PTSD prior to this because of the way that I grew up and the circumstances in which my family came here to the United States, and, the impact that being a refugee had on me as a 5-year-old, not knowing what the fuck was going on. Starting is what's going to get you to that next step. It's what's going to get you to hopefully more good days than bad, which has always been my kind of goal in this. I remember my psychiatrist asking me on our first meeting, like, what is your goal in getting this help? And for me, it was as simple as just getting back to myself, getting back to the person I was before everybody in this fucking world tried to tell me who the fuck to be, Just being myself and being comfortable in my skin and happy with who the fuck I am. Be a point that I want to get across in this video, because for a long time after that car accident, I shut down and I felt like I didn't matter. But I feel like that car accident was a blessing in disguise, because it opened up a door of healing for me that I don't think I ever would have truly had the courage to step through, because I always thought, oh, it wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't be that bad. It'll get better. And as fucking sad as it is to tell you guys, from my own personal experience, unless you're truly doing something to make it better, it does not get better on its own. It only gets worse. And unfortunately, in this life, shit fucking happens. We go through things that will hurt us. People hurt us. People lie to us. People intentionally or unintentionally will put you through things. And it's up to you as a person to come out on the other end of that and be a better person and be a stronger person from that, and learn how to grow from a terrible thing that happened, because we're not defined by the terrible things that happen to us. We're defined by the amazing things that we do and the amazing ideas that we put out into this world. Because at the end of the day, it's about connection. It's about feeling like you're part of something greater than yourself. Still a journey for me every day. Sometimes I wake up and I'm like, I know exactly what type of fucking day it's going to be today, and I just would rather hide away in bed, but I can't do that, you know? Don't get me wrong, it's important to take those days if you're, if you're burnt out and you really just need a day, take the day. But there's also got to be a little bit of that motivation too, You got to have the motivation for yourself, because nobody's going to come and fucking rescue you. That's something that I'm learning and had to learn. Nobody's gonna just come and, like, make it all better. Nobody's gonna, like, flash their little magic wand and everything just is better, and it makes sense. Some days take more energy than others to get stuff done. Some days I feel completely normal, and you'd never guess that I have any sort of struggles internally. It's a roller coaster, but I'm happy that I've finally found some answers and I'm on the road to healing. And if this video reaches anybody else who's potentially going through some of the same things, I really encourage you to reach out to a mental health professional and get the help that you need. There is no stigma in getting help, but you can't do it on your own. And it's okay to reach out for help because at the end of the day, if it's going to help you and it's going to put you on a better path, it's worth it. Um, Anyways, thank you guys so much. If you're still watching, I sincerely appreciate you. I know that this has been a little bit of a heavy topic. I've just been like feeling this fire inside me to not only share about what I'm dealing with personally, but also just let others know out there that it's okay to have struggles and it's okay to not be okay. But you absolutely have to have the desire to get up and do something about it. Because as much as it's okay to not be okay, we want to get to a place where it's okay. Anyways, I'm done being fucking sappy. I love you guys so much. I appreciate you so much for supporting me. I know it's been a fucking roller coaster, and that's just because it's been a roller coaster for me too. Um, and I'm not always fucking transparent about what's going on because sometimes I feel like people are happy you have problems. You know, I feel like sometimes people just want to know what's going on so they could be glad that you're going through something and they're not. And as shitty as that is, like it's been my experience and it's been something I have to work on to find the space in the community that does understand and wants me to do better and wants, good for me. And I know that I finally found that community and this is our safe space. So I appreciate you guys and I just want you to know that I'm here, I'm not going to quit, and I am completely committed to making sure that I'm always transparent with you guys about what's going on with me because I have no shame in my mental health. It's always just a matter of how to express what's going on for me in my brain, and how to put it out there in a way that's not going to hurt other people because just because I'm going through something and I'm experiencing a certain way, I don't ever want to give like a blanket statement and make it seem like everybody who struggles with these mental health diagnoses, experiences, or will act the same way that I do, because that's absolutely not true. Everybody has their own, you know, things. But I wanted to give you guys some insight and perspective on what I've been dealing with and what's kind of been going on behind the scenes on my end. And I will see y'all on the flip side. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for existing. And don't forget that you matter and you deserve the help that you need.